Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young University. And this presentation of the UHSAA 6A Baseball Tournament presented on KSL Sports Rewind by Heidemann and Associates and by Igloo Outfitters. Here we are. We get to determine the last two teams standing as we begin the final round of bracket play here in the 6A tournament, as it's an all-Region 2 showdown between the Corner Canyon Chargers and the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. And with my broadcast partner, Ty Wilkinson, Alexander Timlev, joining you from the broadcast booth here at Larry H. Miller Field. Ty, this is it. All Region 2 matchup. These two teams know each other very well. We're about to have a very interesting game.
Well, they do know each other very well, Alex. I mean, not so far yet in this tournament. Fremont's playing Mountain Ridge, but Fremont also playing Corner Canyon. They're the only team that has faced the two, but these two have not yet faced each other, at least in the postseason so far. So we'll see how that plays into a factor for tonight's game. But it's the 10 versus the 3 seed. That I think is probably the most interesting storyline today. And then Mountain Ridge having to play a doubleheader just in order to be here and stay alive.
So here's an interesting thing for you. We talked about earlier, Ty, the earlier game today between Fremont and Mountain Ridge, where Mountain Ridge, hammered Fremont. That was a shocker in and of itself. Mountain Ridge made 5 changes to the lineup. This game, they are also making 5 more changes, and they're putting their normal starters back into the lineup. Very interesting decision here by Brock Whitney.
You wonder if that decision will play a factor, too, into how I would say the game goes today, because the statistics show, Mountain Ridge, they're going to be doing just fine, I feel like, personally. You saw the few last inning, at least for Mountain Ridge. It was the 5th inning where it felt like it was kind of just a show out. We thought it was going to be a close game going into that 5th inning, Alex, and it turned out to not be the case, and they ended up mercy ruling them in the 5th inning with 8 runs. That's just in and of itself just wild.
So here is the lineups for both teams and who Jeff Yore and Brock Whitney have put together as their winning teams today, presented by Heidemann and Associates, the full-service law firm that is fully committed to winning for you, the client. Corner Canyon puts out Garrett Downing, Ryder Florence, Cash Conquer, the top 3 of the order. Cleanup is held by third baseman Nathan Horstman. First baseman Andrew Nice bats 5th. DH Logan Nordhoff comes into the lineup. In for Jack Munson. Aiden Dunn into right field today. Cannon Cotterall as the catcher batting 8th. Drew Walcott, the left fielder, batting 9th. Tanner Mackey, Jack Munson, the 2 changes to the bench for head coach Jeff Yore. And meanwhile, on the other side for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels, he has Stockton Folks leading off the top of the order with Jackson Reiser, Remington Edwards, no surprise there, Austin Ellis in 4th. Ethan Iacono now moves up to 5th in left field. Cooper Goff returns to his normal spot in the DH hole in 6th. Luke Nelson, Juan Gonzalez, and Leo Bachoco are the 7-8 Niners down the bottom. Starting pitcher for Corner Canyon is Ryland Dunn, but we get our first look at the left-hander here for Mountain Ridge, Dylan Singleton, number 5 here, Ty. And Ty, Dylan Singleton, he came in relief a couple of times in this tournament. Now he gets to come in a starter's role in a virtual elimination game against the Corner Canyon team that's looking to make the finals.
And you think if the pressure isn't on, I say you're pretty much dead wrong, because that's the most pressure I feel like you can receive as a player, especially against a hot, I would say, sizzling Corner Canyon team. There's only been a couple of teams that have been able to breach that 10-run margin, and for Corner Canyon to do it against Fremont yesterday, in and of itself is just an incredible stat. But now they face the other team that managed to mercy rule that same Fremont team. I'm not going to say that there's a suspicion between the people that play Fremont, but I guess as metric goes, this is going to be a high-scoring game, at least as far as the statistics standpoint go, Alex. It's going to be very, very interesting.
The winners move on. If Corner Canyon wins, they move on to the finals. If Mountain Ridge wins, we will have a double chance game tomorrow at 4 p.m. here at Larry H. Miller Field. The Corner Canyon Chargers trying to make the finals of the 6A baseball tournament. Mountain Ridge trying to force a winner-take-all game. That's the storyline. That's the bottom line. And that is the reality facing these two teams. The two Region 2 teams set to go as we're ready to get the semifinal round underway. And the first pitch on the way from Dylan Singleton is in at the knees for strike one. Singleton kicks and fires. That one is high and inside, ball one. Downing awaits the 1-1. That one's down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Two-one pitch. That one is on the corner. Strike two.
So now quickly a 2-2 count. And you would think if you're Garrett Downing, this is the situation you would want to be in as a hitter.
2-2 pitch. Got him. Good start for Dylan Singleton. 1 batter, 1 out, and a strikeout to the ledger. And here comes Ryder Florence, the shortstop. First pitch on the way is down in the carpet, ball one. Well, Ty, how much do you think the fatigue factor is also going to play an issue here for Mountain Ridge, having played a game earlier this morning and having to come back after basically a lunch break?
Well, yeah, theoretically, and not only are they coming back from just a game, this is going to be a more heat-worthy game. We were talking about this during the in-between breaks between games of our previous game that just ended, the American Fork versus Riverton matchup, that the turf definitely does make it more of a difficult situation for the fielders out there, especially wearing in those long pants. All the black tar.
That one is driven into the air to right center. That's falling fast. That's going to be in the gap. That's going to get up against the fence. Rounding second on his way to third is Florence. He will get there with a triple. Ryder Florence, who's come up with some timely hits time and time again, gets the first base knock of the ball game, and it's a 3-bagger to put Corner Canyon in position to break the seal.
Well, he hit it to pretty much the perfect point all the way out there in right center field. And I mean, that one went all the way to the wall, and he took advantage of the opportunity as it slowed down deep outfield.
That one is lined into right. Should be deep enough to score the run. Here comes the throw into the plate. Close play. He is safe. And Corner Canyon leads 1-0. So the Chargers strike early. Off the triple by Florence, the sac fly and the slide and the safe call. And now here comes the cleanup man, Nathan Horseman. And he takes a ball high, 1-0.
Well, you hear the nickname, Horsey, coming from the dugout.
1-0 pitch. This one skips on by to the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes. This one is popped up in the air over the tarp. And that's going to land on the other side of the complex behind us, so that's 2 balls and a strike now. With 2 out on Nathan Horstman. 1-0 Corner Canyon already in front on an RBI sac fly that scored Ryder Florence off a one-out triple as this ball is up high, 3-1.
You can see Austin Ellis coming out there trying to assess, hopefully not any more damage. It's already been done in a quick strike from this Corner Canyon lineup. I mean, Florence Ryder, he got that triple. And then the next bat directly after by Cash Connor, he gets the sac fly, and they drive him in.
3-1 pitch is grounded on 3 hops to short, but Choco throws over the first in time, and that concludes matters here in the inning. But Corner Canyon gets a run across on the triple and the sac fly, and they are up 1-0 early here in our first game of the semifinals. Welcome back, everyone, to the Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of the 2024 UHSAA Baseball Semifinals. And so, Ty, Mountain Ridge now trails 1-0, but they've been here before. And against Fremont, they were trailing early in the game 3-0, but they have to be feeling pretty good right now that they only gave up 1 run when it could have easily have been more.
I would completely agree with that statement, Alex, and you can trust in this offense that had a complete, I don't even know what you would call that in the 5th inning, an 8-run 5th, an explosive 5th. I mean, everything just went right. Everything just went right for Mountain Ridge, and you want to see at least a similar statistic, but going down early, you're right, they have been in this position for, inclusively in the playoffs and on this field too. You just kind of got to wonder what motivation you'll have to have, you know, in the offensive and defensive perspective, because it's a mental mindset, at least for the Mountain Ridge team, to kind of come out here and see what they can do.
Now remember, Corner Canyon, this is their 3rd game in 3 days. Mountain Ridge, this is their 4th game in 3 days. Remember, they had to win another game just to get here. So you do kind of wonder if fatigue will start to become a factor for the Sentinels here in this game. Here comes Stockton Folks, who led off with a triple in the 5th inning. That ended up being the game-ending inning between the Mountain Ridge Sentinels and the Fremont Silverwolves in the second meeting between those two teams. Fremont got absolutely the doors absolutely just blown off them in that 5th inning. First pitch on the way to Folks is right at the knees for a strike. All 1 the count, nobody out. Just underway here, bottom of the 1st inning. Here's the pitch. That one is picked up off the carpet, but it's called at the knees for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes the count on Stockton Folks. Oh-2 pitch. Jammed him, but it's lifted in the air to center, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Lands right between Florence and the center fielder, Garrett Downing. And now, with Jackson Reiser coming to the plate, the Sentinels have a base runner here to begin proceedings in their half of the 1st.
Well, it's true, and I mean, the first game, Alex, we saw 3 walks that were given to Mountain Ridge in the 1st inning. Could we see back-to-back-to-back singles from this barrage of righties in the 1-3 count?
Hayden Hudman, the Fremont starter, issued 3 straight walks all in a row to the 3 batters he faced. First pitch is in there for a strike. Runner on first, nobody out, just underway here on our 3rd game of the day here from Larry H. Miller Field. And time called by the umpire. Already a runner on first, nobody out. And the pitch. That one is high. Doesn't get the call this time. 1 ball, 1 strike. It'll be Reiser and then Remington Edwards up next. Here in the bottom half of the 1st inning. Dunn comes set. Gets the signal in the pitch. This is chopped towards the shortstop, and they collide over there. And that is going to create a chance for a pickoff. They get him. So the collision works out after all as the runners. As meanwhile, we have a fielder. It's going to be a fielder's choice. Score at 6-4 on the putout, and there's already one out here in the bottom of the first. And this is what we talked about a lot over the past couple of days with these top seeds, not able to convert on their opportunities.
That was directly down the middle, right in between the third and second base line. Coming right in between those two defenders, so I guess it's reasonable for the collision out there, but you got to call the ground out based off of your position. I think they'll probably learn from their lesson and do that more often now.
Ball one here to the third man in the order, Remington Edwards, part of the 12 batters that Mountain Ridge sent to the plate in the bottom half of the fifth inning in that run rule win over Fremont earlier this morning. 1-0 pitch. Runner goes. Pitch is low in the dirt. And the ball gets away from the catcher. And so mark that down as a stolen base. 2 balls and no strikes now to the number 3 man in the order, Remington Edwards, and still only 1 out. So runner in scoring position already for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. Ryder Florence tripled and then was brought home on a sacrifice fly by Cash Conker. And Mountain Ridge trying to answer in kind with a run of their own here in the first inning. Here's the 2-0. That one is inside, trying to get the call, but did not. And the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes now on Remington Edwards. Has a look back at second, does done. Here's the 3-0. Ball 4. And a 4-pitch walk issued to Remington Edwards. And there are now runners on first and second here with only 1 out. But that does make a double play a possibility now. As up steps Austin Ellis, the catcher, and boy, was he clutch in that elimination game against Fremont. Ty 3 for 4. He was.
Yeah, an outstanding game, just to say the least. I mean, what more can you do?
Took a good look there at what we're looking at from up here with the runners on first and second. Dunn will now step off. Good work by our cameraman Josh Dodge down here to see the whole field, to get a better idea what Ryland Dunn's dealing with in this bit of a jam here in the bottom of the first. That's a changeup. That's inside off the corner. Ball 1. That's 5 consecutive balls now thrown by Ryland Dunn.
And if you're Corner Canyon's defense, this is the situation you want to be in, Alex. First and second, double play still in a factor. So if you get a short hopper pretty much anywhere, that includes 2 first base, you have that opportunity for that double play ball.
Meanwhile, Jackson Reiser playing a bit of head games there with Ryland Dunn. Here comes the pitch. And that's around the head there. 2 balls and a strike. That's 6 consecutive thrown outside the strike zone. And here comes Jeff Yore already out of the dugout. And I believe we are already going to have motion in the bullpen for Corner Canyon. And we are indeed going to have some movement in the pen now for Corner Canyon, as a right-hander looks like is beginning to stretch and throw over there on that far right-hand side.
Well, as difficult as a lineup as this is to face, Alex, it's, kind of counterintuitive to not have that reliability. I wonder if Corner Canyon is going to play the bullpen game, at least during the few closing innings as we get closer. But, I'm not really sure, because Corner Canyon, as we know, is a team that can score. But same goes for Mountain Ridge. These are 2 of the teams that against Fremont breached that 10-run barrier. One was obviously from Mercy Rule, but the other one.
Well, Corner Canyon got swept by Mountain Ridge earlier in the regular season, and then 2 of the 3 games, Mountain Ridge put up 10 runs. 2-0 pitch coming. This one is hit in the air to right, off the end of the bat. First baseman will trundle out there to make the catch. Riser will not advance. Third base umpire says infield fly rule goes into effect on that play, and there's 2 out. So that'll bring up Ethan Iacono, now the left fielder, as he tries to get something going here in the bottom half of the first inning.
I was going to say, Alex, he was pretty quiet last game. I think he was one of 2 guys who didn't get a hit for Mountain Ridge in that barrage against Fremont.
First pitch on the way. He swings and misses at that one. Just approaching 5 p.m. local time here at Larry H. Miller Field in Provo. That ball 1 pitch is down in the dirt, ball 1.
Well, the infielders for Corner Canyon are really on their toes right now. You can see they creep up about 3 feet from their original position that they're sitting at. They get locked and loaded, getting ready for any potential ground ball that's going to come their way.
1-1 pitch. And that is foul up to the right field stands. Just past the tarp. By the way, if a ball hits the roof at any point on UCCU Ballpark or the Larry H. Miller Field this week, it'll be cue for our Any Hour Services Random Roof Ringers. We just dig up random factoids about the game of baseball. One and two the count, 2 out, 2 runners on, and the pitch. Lined in the air to right. And that one, right on cue, hits the tarp. So we will have an Any Hour Services Random Roof Ringer. Depending on the result of this at-bat. Or maybe after a commercial break, who knows? 1 and 2 the count. Ryland Dunn set in the pitch. That one is inside. Check throw to first, and he is safe. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. With a runner in scoring position at second base and a runner on first. Bottom of the first inning, Mountain Ridge and Corner Canyon, this all-Region 2 semifinal. Corner Canyon trying to advance to the finals. Mountain Ridge trying to force an extra game. 2-2 pitch. And that's outside and low when the count goes full.
Well, this is knocking on the door of opportunity right now for Mountain Ridge. Runners at first and second with 2 outs, but the only issue is now you got Ethan Iacono with a full count deal.
Full count offering and the pitch on the way. Runners go, and he swings and misses for strike 3. And Mountain Ridge cannot get anything across in the bottom of the first inning. We go to the top of the second. Corner Canyon up 1-0 on the Rewind Sports Network. Larry H. Miller Field here at BYU. Well, we didn't get a chance to get it in, but now we can do it. It's our Any Hour Services Random Roof Ringer presented by Any Hour Services. Ty, what do you got for us?
Well, we know that it's a random roof ringer, and as a result, it is considered a foul ball. So I want you to take a guess, Alex. What is the average amount of foul balls that are hit into a crowd during a Major League game?
Well, I know they're pretty common. So I'm going to guess a venture about, 20 to 30 foul balls a game get hit into the crowd?
It is a little bit more. It's right at 50 foul balls.
That's about what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you sit next to the darn field the whole time, and now they have that protective netting up there, which I think is a brilliant idea, by the way, to protect the fans from getting hit.
Well, other fans would prefer a souvenir, but I'm also in that train of safety.
Yes, but you would also prefer if it came down to you rather than came at you, I think. This is the thing. Here's Andrew Nice, the first baseman, leading off, as Austin Ellis looked like he got crossed up right there. Couldn't see where the ball was. And it's ball 1. And again, Ellis can't come up with that one. 2 balls and no strikes. Interesting call. So Andrew Nice now is Andrew Nice now the first baseman facing a 2-0 count here. This one is ripped toward the hole and through for a base hit. So now Andrew Nice reaches for the first time today and a runner on first with nobody out.
Well, there you go.
So up steps Logan Nordhoff, the DH. Again, he replaces Tanner Mackey, who was in that spot as the DH, but was in the 9 hole. So Nordhoff moves up from 9 to 6 in the batting order today. That pitch goes high and wide for ball 1.
You wonder what the DH can offer now that you got the first baseman over on the other side. It's the awaiting opportunity.
That one is a strike right down the heart of the plate. Ball for a ball and strike the count now. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs. Runner on first base is Andrew Nice, the first baseman. Aiden Dunn stands on deck. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. One and 2 the count, nobody out. Check throw back to first and in safely. And they're going to call a balk on Dylan Singleton. So advance the runner to second.
Well, that doesn't help matters right there. Not only do you have 0 outs, now you got a runner in scoring position, and now you got to get through.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count. And first base umpire is going to have a chat here with Dylan Singleton to talk about what just happened. So runner in scoring position now. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. And here goes the pitch. Cut him. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Dylan Singleton, and there's 1 gone. Aiden Dunn now, the right fielder, steps in. So a single, and then the balk, and then the strikeout. 1 out here in the top half of the second inning here for the Corner Canyon Chargers. That pitch is high and wide, 1 ball, no strikes. One 0 pitch. That one misses the outside corner, 2-0.
You just wonder the fatigue that's going through Mountain Ridge right now. Just all the players. Obviously, they had an afternoon game, and now it's an even hotter situation, right, as we reached a little bit above high noon.
That one is in there for a strike right at the knees on the bottom corner. 2 balls and a strike now. Runner in scoring position is Andrew Nice. And the catcher, Cannon Cotterall, stands on deck. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss again. Strike 2. Good placement for that pitch right on the bottom of the zone. Singleton trying to work around that single on the balk. Two pitch. Goodbye. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dylan Singleton.
Well, and 3rd on the afternoon, too.
So Cannon Cotterall now stands in as the last chance for Corner Canyon to scratch across a run here in this top half of the second inning. Both teams have created some traffic against each other in the past. Mountain Ridge Sentinels trying to stave off elimination one more time and force a winner-take-all game tomorrow night. That pitch just misses the outside corner, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, 2 outs, runner on second in scoring position. Here's the pitch. This one hit in the air to right, tailing off towards foul ground. Is that going to stay fair? It is caught! What a catch by Remington Edwards! The stretch fetch and the out, and that concludes matters here in the second. Corner Canyon gets a runner into scoring position but can't do any more with it. We go now to the bottom half of inning number 2. It remains 1-0 in favor of the Chargers. Wednesday afternoon here in Provo, Utah. Alexander Tamup alongside Ty Wilkinson here in the Betty and Cy Kimball broadcast booth here at Larry H. Miller Field for this game between the Corner Canyon Chargers and the Mountain Ridge Sentinels, the first game of the semifinal round of the 2024 UHSAA Baseball Tournament. We remind you that the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA playoffs continues tomorrow. A soccer triple-header awaits us at America First Field. Murray takes on Ridgeline. Wasatch goes for a repeat title against Roy. And the matchup everybody anticipates at this time of the year, a number 1 versus number 2 showdown. It's Farmington taking on American Fork. All those games tomorrow morning starting 10 a.m. on your home for UHSAA Spring Sports Championships, KSL Sports Rewind. Of course, that's not the only games that are going on tomorrow. You have lacrosse championships, and you also have a potential for a double chance elimination game tomorrow. Corner
we
Canyon.
love to keep working, Alex.
Yeah, seriously, Corner Canyon has not beaten Mountain Ridge all season long. They lost 2 of 3 games, or they lost all 3 games to the Sentinels in the regular season. But can they break through when it matters? Can they make this game count and advance to the finals of the 6A tournament? 1-0 pitch to the DH. Cooper Goff is once again picked up off the carpet. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, we didn't see Cooper Goff in the previous game that they played. You wonder if that's courtesy of that. I don't want to call it absurd, but I should say, what's the proper word for that? An aggressive line change?
I have no idea. I have no idea what that means. A fire? What you're trying to get at? A fire wagon change?
Maybe. I mean.
Well, I'm not Doc Emmerich, so I can't say that.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, this one is fouled off to the left and into the Mountain Ridge bullpen, tailing off towards University Parkway, and that's going to bounce into University Parkway. Darn, you're going to bounce into the parking lot of Lavelle Edwards Stadium. 2-2 pitch. That is lined into center field. Coming on and making the catch. Stretching out and getting that one is Garrett Downing. 1 gone. That's 2 back-to-back plays we've seen on both sides of the field. The defense is really showing out here early on.
Well, how about that play out there? Little Garrett Downing had to lose the hat just to get that play in the diving, sprawling effort.
So here comes Luke Nelson, the first baseman. Juan Gonzalez, the second baseman, stands on deck, followed by the shortstop Leo Bachoco. This one is down in the dirt, ball 1. One-0 pitch. That one is also down low. Mountain Ridge hitters being paid a lot of respect here early on, especially for their power ball prowess, as we've seen in the last game against Fremont earlier this morning. 2-0 pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Skipped just by Ryland Dunn on the mound, and it's skirted on into center field. And a 1-out single for Luke Nelson, the first baseman. And that'll bring up Juan Gonzalez, now the second baseman, who was, I guess we could say, pulled for Tyler James in the first game this morning in the 8-hole, but he returns to the lineup this afternoon. Gonzalez had an RBI single against Fremont. Can he come through here? This one is rocketed up the middle and a base hit past the shortstop. Nelson will be put up the stop sign. Back-to-back singles. And just like that, there are 2 runners on with 1 out and tie. We talked about how the bottom of the lineup did a lot of damage for Mountain Ridge. starting to do it again here early on.
It's very true, Alex. You know, 2 back-to-back singles from the 7 and 8 hitters of Luke Nelson and Juan Gonzalez. And I mean, I feel like they're just getting started too, if that's the situation. You got a short hopper right over there. Unfortunately, Ryder Florence wasn't able to clean it over there at short for Corner Canyon.
Leo Bachoco now the shortstop. Number 9 in the order. Here's the pitch. That one gets by. And that's going to move the runners up 90 feet. And so now Mountain Ridge threatening to push across the go-ahead run as well as the tying run here in the bottom of the second. Remember, they had an 8-run explosion in the 5th inning where they sent 12 batters to the plate that ended up being the difference and getting them the first run rule victory of this tournament and eliminated a very good Fremont team.
Well, something that's noteworthy, Alex, is they hadn't scored those 8 runs before their previous 2 that they had.
That one is caught on the line at thirst. What a play by the first baseman over there, Andrew Nice. And there is quickly 2 gone on that play. Turn over the lineup cards. Here comes Stockton Folks now. Runner at second. Tying run at third. I know it's still early, but Ty, every run is going to be important in a game like this.
You say so. I mean, the second inning wasn't until the breached barrier, obviously the iconic 5th inning, at least as far as we're concerned. But they had 2 previously. They were scored in the second inning, but we didn't hear from them until the 5th. And it was a roaring 5th inning, too. So this is quite obviously far from over here for Mountain Ridge.
Folks stands in. Dunn is ready. And the pitch. This one is jammed up in the air and caught. And that concludes the inning. Mountain Ridge gets runners into second and third, but they can't push them across. Chargers still lead 1-0 as we go to the top half of inning number 3 in round 1 of the semifinals. Get a good look there at the Wasatch front here. Alexander Timolip joined by Ty Wilkinson in the booth. Welcome back to Larry H. Miller Field here in Provo. Well, we got a guest here in the booth with us. Wilson Gustafson, kind enough to join us here for at least a couple of games here this evening. And I understand, Wilson, you got a little stat line that you want to throw out there from that last half inning that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, I was really impressed that last half inning by Ryland Dunn and the Corner Canyon defense, just because getting out of that sort of situations, I mean, that's tricky. And just want to shout out Ryland Dunn a little bit. I think what's really important in these tournaments is depth, right? Pitching depth. And Ryland Dunn is sort of coming in here and doing a great performance despite only having, 7 outings this season. So kudos to him and the work he's been doing today.
Yeah, and of course, 1 run on 2 base hits, of course, is not very much good for run support. As this one is down low and away, ball 1. Start the top half of the 3rd inning here. 1-0 our score, and you kind of get the feeling this isn't going to be our final score here this afternoon. Someone's going to have to get offense going at some point. This one is inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Want to thank Wilson for joining us up here. Of course, Ty, we missed him the first couple of days, but we're glad he's here to at least shadow us for a little bit for this next couple of games.
Right.
2-0 pitch. That one is in the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes now.
Well, going back to what you said, Alex, that this game is 100% far from over. Both of these teams have at least scored 10 runs so far in this tournament, and both ironically against Fremont. So, this explosion could be far from over.
That one is down to the knees for a strike, taking all the way. Three balls and 1 strike against the leadoff man here in the order. Drew Watcott, number 9 hitter in the order, as he fouls this one off to the right off the end of the bat. And the count goes full here. Dylan Singleton already 3 strikeouts on his ledger today. Back to the top of the order after this, Garrett Downing. Full count offering on the way. Payoff. And that is foul. Sixth pitch of the AB coming up here.
Well, if we've learned anything from these lineups is do not count the bottom or count out the bottom order, and that's for sure, Alex. I mean, Drew Watcott, we know last game. I mean, once again, that entire team, I guess, raked off of Fremont, but he had an RBI.
This one is fouled right into the stomach of Ellis. Needs a couple minutes here to gather himself. That hit him square. That hit him square on the bottom of the shield where there's no protection on the gut. And it must have hit him right in that spot in the gut.
Those ones hurt.
Yeah, especially where there's no padding down there on that catcher's equipment where it only covers so much of the middle of your body. And
you know, for catcher's equipment, they emphasize on the chest because that's right where the lungs are and you're
Yep.
breathing with your heart. They don't really focus right down toward the stomach and the intestine area.
This one is hitting the air high down the line, trailing towards foul ground. Look out, everybody in the Mountain Ridge bullpen. And that one falls foul. Drew Watcott, 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is the 8th pitch of the AB now that he will face. From Dylan Singleton, I guess you could say the de facto opener for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels, as there's an arm up in the bullpen right now for the Sentinels. That's been ready and tossing for a little bit now, a right-hander. 3-2 the count. Here comes the payoff. This one is jammed up in the air, foul. Look out, everybody, in the first couple of rows. And that one lands in the stands. Pitch number 9 coming up of the AB. Three balls and 2 strikes against the leadoff man of the inning, Drew Watcott. Here it comes. Did he go?
Nope.
He did not. And it's ball 4.
What an at-bat.
So after a 10-pitch at-bat, Drew Watcott draws the walk. So now here comes Garrett Downing, the leadoff man of the order now, as we have a right-hander warming up in the bullpen for Mountain
I
Ridge.
was going to say take notes after that at-bat for Dylan Singleton as 10 pitches, but you let him go. So not only is your pitch count getting up, now you got a runner on first.
This one is bunted in front of the mound. They'll go the short way for the force at first, and they'll get the sacrifice runner there. Score at 1-4 on the putout. 1 out now. Runner advances in the scoring position here at second. This is, by the way, in all 3 innings so far for Corner Canyon, and in both innings for Mountain Ridge, they have had runners in scoring position, but they have not been able to score. Both teams combined 0 for 6. RASP. The sacrifice fly RBI does not count as a base hit. This one is popped up in the air to right. Coming on is the center fielder, and he will make the catch. The runner will not tag in advance, and there's 2 out. So Cash Conquer now the 3rd man in the order now, the last chance here for Corner Canyon to push across their second run. And what has been a largely defensive battle here so far between these 2 teams, as you would expect.
Well, in a much more quiet second inning than Corner Canyon's previous game.
Swing and a miss. Good pull on the string on the changeup there for Cash Conquer. Strike 1.
That was, what, 12 batters faced? At least as I'm looking over here, Alex. 12 batters faced that Corner Canyon had against Fremont. It's a much different story so far in this inning.
Now that I think about it, yeah, Corner Canyon or Mountain Ridge wasn't the only team that sent more than 8 batters to the plate against Fremont. Corner Canyon also did it in the 6th inning of their game against Fremont, or the second inning of their game against Fremont. They also sent 12 batters to the plate.
And what a barrage that was, too.
Yeah, 7 runs on 6 hits that inning was, as Conquer takes high ball 1. Very, 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 very weird to see a Fremont team give up 12 batters in consecutive games and big innings in consecutive games, especially against Region 2 teams for such a talented team. That one just a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors so far. The only base hit was the triple by Ryder Florence, and then the single by Cannon Cotterall back in the second inning. That one is right down the heart of the plate for strike 2.
It's a nice crisp pitch right down Main Street right there, Alex. I know there's a
Right down.
green line that separates between the pitcher's mound.
Right down University Parkway, you could call it. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Goodbye. Nice knowing you. 4th K already for Dylan Singleton. He has done his job to hold Mountain Ridge in it. Now they need to get their offense going. 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning here on the Rewind Sports Network. Well, we talked about how the fatigue factor could be setting in for both of these teams. There's an example of it right there. You're looking at a shot of the Corner Canyon bullpen where we got a right-hander warming up, Alexander Tumalev. Ty Wilkinson, occasionally here joined by Wilson Gustafson here and there inside the booth here at the Larry H. Miller Field. And Ty, Wilson and you were talking about it here so far, how it's been a case of the pitchers getting the betters of the hitters. Is that kind of the nerves you think of this kind of a game, or is it kind of what we expected given the fact that this virtually is an elimination game?
Well, for the pitchers, I'd say there's no nerves at all. I mean, you get base runners on, and the result is just in the pitcher's favor every single time. They're calm, composed on both sides, too. It's not like one is more favored than the other. It's just the pitching duel as we enter into the bottom of the 3rd inning.
The only run was scored on the RBI sac fly off the triple by Ryder Florence. Other than that, runners with scoring position 0 for 6 both teams are today, as this one is smashed foul down the line to right and into the parking lot of Helaman Halls.
I got to start keeping track of how many have gone over there now.
We got to start keeping track of how many cars are going to be hit over the
Yep.
next few days because of the graduations that are going on, especially today and tomorrow. Fear for those pedestrians walking down University Parkway. Here's the 0-1. That one is in the dirt, gets by the catcher. Ball 1. Just past 5:15 p.m. local time here in Provo, the 3rd of our 4 games here today. Our last game of the day, Lehigh against Riverton in their 2nd semifinal. What a game that's going to be. Riverton trying to make it back to the championship series. Lehigh trying to spoil everybody's brackets. That changeup took a bit to call, but looked like it was right there. A little bit of indecision there from the home plate umpire. And it's strike 2.
Well, Jackson Reiser, his hits are pretty unpredictable. I mean, as you can see how the infield is shifted, I mean, pretty much everyone is very equally spread out.
And he strikes out here. First strikeout of the day for Ryland Dunn. As we have a moment, time to announce who our umpires are for this game. Cameron Hartman is calling the balls and strikes behind the home plate today. Greg Carter is covering second base down the right field to the right field line. And Lyle Mangum is covering from second base down to the left field line this afternoon. First pitch on the way. And that one does not get the call this time for Mr. Hartman. Ball 1.
I was going to say credit where credit is due to our umpires tonight wearing all black on a turf out there. That is a difficult task.
They must be sweating profusely over there. Ball 1 now. That one doesn't get the call. Looked like he had to snatch that back up a couple of inches. Two 2-0 the count to Remington Edwards, the right fielder, 3rd man in the order. 2-0 pitch on the way. This one is golfed down the line. Fair ball. That's going to be big-time trouble up against the fence. Edwards turns from first on his way to second. He'll coast in there with a 1-out double. That one was smoked right down the left field line. It hit off underneath where the conference championships are marked off for BYU baseball on the left field line near that 347 marker. And on the 1-out double, Remington Edwards is aboard with 1 out. The 5th hit of this game already for Mountain Ridge. And it appears that is going to do it for the de facto opener, Ryland Dunn. So as expected, we have a pitching change. Ryland Dunn just goes 1 1, just goes 2 1/3 innings, and it'll be up to the bullpen the rest of the way for the Corner Canyon Chargers if they want to advance to the championship series. So Ryland Dunn acts as an opener for the Corner Canyon Chargers. He goes just 2 1/3 innings and is responsible for the runner on second base now with 1 out here in the inning, and that will bring up Corner Canyon reliever Carson Paulson to the pitcher's mound. And Ty, you and I and Wilson, or maybe you and Wilson were just talking about it earlier. This is a very interesting tactic here by Jeff Ure, going with a staff game.
Well, he's putting his trust in his bullpen too, a mighty bullpen in Corner Canyon that's been pretty productive pretty much all day long. But I want to take note of that because Fremont, at least in the earlier game today, they tried to do the exact same tactic, but inevitably it was Fremont who fell by the sword in the pitching battle with the bullpen. So maybe similar attributes are going to be coming in for Corner Canyon if they're going to try playing this game. But to tell you the truth, I think it's a very interesting tactic if it's, a coaching decision for him.
Ty, I should pause you for a second on that point because the bullpens of this tournament have been extremely disappointing. I shouldn't say disappointing. That's kind of a harsh word, but the bullpens have been a huge weak spot for all of these teams in bracket play. I mean, you look at the Davis bullpen, the Corner Canyon bullpen, the Mountain Ridge bullpen, Fremont bullpen. All the bullpens in this tournament have been very unpredictable.
So you wonder why, I guess, the decision is made, especially this early in the inning, to now put the reliance in your bullpen against a team that we know is capable of scoring at least 10 runs.
And sending more than 10 batters to the plate. Paulson's first pitch is up high, ball 1. Like we said, Fremont was hit by back-to-back big innings. Corner Canyon sent seven runners across on 11 batters on Tuesday. And then this morning, Fremont was hit for 8 runs on 12 batters. And they were run ruled. That pitch just misses the inside corner. Maybe caught just a fraction too much of the grass.
Well, is it not a game of inches, Alex?
In a game like this, it's going to be that way. Remington Edwards, the tying run on second. Here comes the pitch. Up high, 3 balls and no strikes. And so Paulson now a pitch away from putting a runner on first and second. I guess the only silver lining is if you do that, you're set up for a potential double play. And we know how good the defenses have been today. Especially Leo Pachoco at shortstop for Mountain Ridge has made some great plays over the last couple of days. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Taking all the way. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk issued by Carson Paulson.
The bullpen story continues.
And Ellis will depart now, and here comes the pinch runner out to run for him. So Austin Ellis, who went 3 for 4 in the earlier game against Fremont, gets on base here. And Cannon Honeycutt now will take over his spot at first base as the battery comes out for a little conference. Runners
already starting with off with a 4-pitch walk there,
yeah.
Alex. It's just the story.
We talked about, were we not just saying how the bullpens have been very unpredictable in this tournament? Example A. Here comes Ethan Iacono now, the left fielder. 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning, rather. 1-0 Corner Canyon. And the first pitch way inside over his noggin right there, and he has a look up to the heavens. Does Iacono? I don't think he liked that very much. Movement in both bullpens now. Here in this bottom of the third. 1-0 pitch on the way from Paulson. That one doesn't catch the corner. Just missed it again.
That's 6 straight balls right now from him to deal.
Some of these pitches are just missing the plate. By mere micrometers, if that's possible. 2-0 pitch. That one catches the corner this time. That's a strike.
Well, now he gets the call on the inside. There you go.
Hopefully that'll settle Paulson down a little bit after issuing the 4-pitch walk.
It's a good redemption pitch.
Runner on second is the tying run. Runner on first represents the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the third. 1 out, 2-1 pitch. Hit and run count possibility on. They don't go. This one is jammed into center. Heading back towards second. And another near collision out there, but the shortstop, Ryder Florence, is able to get over there and make the catch, and there is quickly 2 out.
Well, that's a good redemption at bat right there after the 4-pitch walk.
So now here comes Cooper Goff, the DH, who's back into the lineup after basically, you could say, got a game off for Caden Goodsell, who came in to replace him in the 9-hole, moved back up to the 6th spot here today. First pitch on the way. That one misses the outside corner by a good margin. One nothing Corner Canyon here. One 0 pitch. That one misses. That one this time catches a little bit of the top corner there for a strike.
Interesting call on the outside. It was a little bit away from him.
1-1 the count. 1-1 the count. 2 out. Runners at first and second on the pitch. This one just gets the barrel on that one. Tips it foul. One and 2 the count now. 2 out here on the DH Cooper Goff. Runner on second, runner on first. Can he bring them both in? And now Paulson will step off. You have to assume both runners will likely be off here. Here it comes. And that was a good pitch out call there by the catcher, Cannon Cotterall, to prevent the runners from going. 2-2.
Well, it's deuces wild here, Alex.
Sure is. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners on. Both teams 0 for 7 RISP combined. Will Mountain Ridge be the first to break through? Here comes the pitch from Paulson. And that one misses outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes, so the count goes full. And you'd have to think the runners will definitely be off here.
Well, we even talked about it earlier too, Alex. It's the 3-2 approaches that make it so different from the 2-2 counts, not only for the pitcher but also for the batter.
3-2 the count, 2 out, and the pitch. Runners go. That ball is hit well in the air to right center, at the wall, off the base of the fence. 1 run is in. Here comes the second. Cooper Goff does deliver. Mountain Ridge takes the lead.
Now hitting 1, Luke Nelson.
A 2-run, 2-out double that hits off of the picture of Gary Pullins out there in right center field.
On a full count offering.
That one darn near left the ballpark. That was at least 370 feet. And that Mountain Ridge dugout really fired up now after that 2-out double. And Corner Canyon trails for just the 3rd time in this tournament. Their largest deficit of this tournament was 2 runs. They have not trailed by any more than that in their 3 games. 1-0 pitch. Ground ball to third. Picked up on a hop. Throw over to first in time. And that ends the inning, but the damage is done. A 2-run, 2-out double by Cooper Goff, the designated hitter. And we are in a 2-1 game. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels have their first lead of the day. We'll be back after this word from Igloo Outfitters on Rewind. Well, welcome back to the first game, potentially, of game of two of our semifinals here this afternoon. Alexander Timlip alongside Ty Wilkinson, joined by our special guest, Wilson Gustafson, who's now manning the camera for us.
Well, we called him up, didn't we?
For Josh Dodge here for a couple of minutes here on the camera. We have a new pitcher on the mound for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels to begin the top half of the fourth inning. Dylan Singleton goes 3 strong as the opener. Grayson Riding, now number 20, who made a brief appearance on yesterday as a reliever. He now will get a chance to take over. And Ty, we just touched on it. The bullpens have been extremely unpredictable in this tournament, and that 2-out, 2-run double by Cooper Goff in the bottom of the third should tell the folks at home why.
I would completely agree with that statement, Alex. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or, whatever's going on here at Larry H. Miller Field, but, whatever is going on, the bullpens have been pretty unpredictable, but as well as not exactly productive as they would originally intend to be. But I guess the good news is for Corner Canyon as Mountain Ridge is taking that same tactic, putting in a new pitcher within the fourth inning.
Well, Dylan Singleton had a pretty good start. He went 3 strong innings with 3 strikeouts, or 5 strikeouts rather, as the first pitch that Grayson Riding has is golfed into right field foul.
I mean, even Rylan Dunn was doing really well, too.
Yeah, he wasn't doing too bad either. This one is hitting the air to center. Riser backs up onto the top of the Y logo, makes the catch, and one gone. Good time to remind you the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA baseball playoffs is presented all week long by Heidemann and Associates. Just like how coaches need to assemble winning teams to get the job done on the diamond, Heidemann and Associates is proud to be assembling a winning team for you, the client. Call them today, 801-754-4240, or contact them online at utah.law for your free consultation. 1-0 on the way from Grayson Riding, and this is golfed in the air, left field, under it, and making the catch is Iacono, and quickly there are 2 gone. So now here comes Logan Nordhoff, the designated hitter, who is taking the place of Tanner Mackey and batting 6th in the order instead of 9th. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch. This one down on the carpet this time, 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. That one catches the corner. Good pitch on that one. 1-2.
An early chance to end the inning here.
Time called by Nordhoff, the DH. 2-1 Mountain Ridge on the 2-run, 2-out double by Cooper Goff, the designated hitter. 1-2 pitch. See you later. And you think they're not fired up? Grayson Riding, step right up and make yourself known. Corner Canyon gone at Kahi Elua Aloha in the top of the 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th with Mountain Ridge up 2-1. Well, good look at the Riverton Silverwolves, who will be playing in our second semifinal game later tonight. Alexander Timble alongside my broadcast partner, Ty Wilkinson. Wilson Gustafson joining us as a special guest. Here in the broadcast booth from the Cy and Betty Kimball broadcast booth here at Larry H. Miller Field. And Ty, we talked about how the bullpens have been unpredictable. Example A of that, Grayson Riding stepped right up, throws 9 pitches in the inning, and gets 3 quick outs.
It was impressive what he did, especially coming off of Paulson's unfortunate first appearance, at least out of the bullpen, too. It was very different styles of the bullpen, and that's just the unpredictability that's coming from the tournament, Alex. But I will say it's been more often than not that the bullpen and its unpredictability has not paid, at least good deeds, I would say, to the person pulling out said starting pitcher. But so far, so good. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. We'll press on.
8, 9, and 1 to lead off the bottom half of the fourth inning here for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. 2-1 is our score as Juan Gonzalez steps into the batter's box. One must also be cognizant, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings is where Corner Canyon has done their damage in this tournament. First pitch on the way to Gonzalez. Shows bunt, drops it. Is he going to get there? Throw to first. He got him. Just got him by a step. A good idea there by Juan Gonzalez, but the throw was even better. Great play there by Cotterall, the catcher.
I don't know what's more beautiful, the hair or the throw in said process. Holy. That was picturesque what he did right there,
You think
Alex.
his teammates encouraged him to grow that hair out?
I definitely would if I was on the team. Are you kidding? I know you're highly against hair.
I am indeed. Thank you for asking.
Yep.
That pitch is in there for a called strike on the leadoff, on the 9th man of the order, Leo Bachoco, who's had a couple of spectacular plays at shortstop for the Sentinels today and over the last couple of days, really. That pitch is inside, and it looks like that hit him. That clipped him on the way through. No argument from the Corner Canyon dugout. And Leo Bachoco gets on base with one out. So the bottom of the order could cause some more trouble here. As Stockton Folks now steps up to the batter's box.
Well, Stockton Folks, quite a few walks in his last game. He did get on base. He had that massive double to spark that 5th inning.
Woo, that one looked like it was tailing off inside, but a good pitch to find the corner there from Carson Paulson for a strike. We should point out the 2 runs in the inning on the 2-run double by Cooper Goff will be charged to the starter, Ryland Dunn. He was responsible for the runners at first and second. Or rather at second and third after the pass ball. That one is down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. As Stockton Folks now stares down a 1-1 count with a runner on first base and 1 out. 2-1 is our score in favor of Mountain Ridge. If this score holds, we'll have an extra game tomorrow. But this thing is far from finished. 1-1 pitch. That one way inside and high around the head there, 2-1 now.
Well, he's lucky it didn't hit that bat. You got to drop that bat down when you know it goes behind your head. As a batter, I've had that happen to me twice, believe it or not, Alex, where you think it's going to go behind yourself, but you leave that bat up there. That's why they teach you to drop it down a little bit. As I use the bat, or the microphone quite literally as a bat, so I don't know if they heard me when I said that, but it's the muscle memory.
This one is chopped to first. They'll go the short way for the unassisted force. And there's 2 gone. Runner advances to second in a scoring position. Do you blame that more on you couldn't get the bat out of the way, or do you not? Or do you blame that more on the fact that you're so bloody short that your bat is literally taller than you?
Maybe. Very well could be the case. It's like the Louisville Slugger all the way back there in Kentucky that I'm using, I guess, at that point. For a reference scale of the bats that these guys are using, right?
And some of these guys are like half a foot taller than us. That one is a strike right at the inner half. Good pitch there on the fastball.
One of the many reasons we're in the booth and they're on the field.
I can think of more, but I'm not going to say them. 0-1 pitch on the way. As that one just was a little bit too high as once again Paulson lost his hat. That's the 3rd or 4th time this inning that he's lost the bucket.
Might need to get properly fitted.
I mean, we've seen that quite a few times. I've seen that quite a few times this season where pitchers get so into their windup that their hat just comes flying off. And normally it's not because of the wind. And normally it's because of the wind, but sometimes there's no wind here at Larry H. Miller Field. The flag is completely still. Throw back to second. They will not get the runner. It was a close play at second, though.
Well, he's keeping him in check over there, too. Good job by Paulson to keep him over there and try to keep him content here with still 2 outs to go. Or, sorry, 1 out to go.
Trying to keep him in check. Sounds like that old Post Malone song they keep playing on the loudspeakers. 1-1 pitch. That's up high. And again, there goes the hat. We should point out it's a 75-degree temperature right now, and the southwest wind at 5 miles per hour. That's why the flag up in right center field is basically still. Now it's drifting ever so slightly from right field to left field.
That turf has been baking out there
But
for a
yes,
while.
that turf has been roasting out there for a while. It's got to be close to 90 degrees down on the field as that pitch just missed the inner half there. 3 balls and a strike now, the count on Jackson Reiser. Runner on second, 2 out. Jackson Reiser at the plate. 6 hits already for Mountain Ridge, but they've only been able to cash in 2 runs. And that was on the 2-run double by Cooper Goff back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Here comes the pitch. High fly ball. Good luck trying to catch this one. In the air to left. Walcott is under it. Makes the squeeze, and that retires the side. Sentinels get a runner in a scoring position, but are unable to do anything else with it. We head now to the top half of the 5th inning. It's 2-1, Mountain Ridge on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back, everyone, to the Larry H. Miller Field here on the campus of BYU. Just a reminder that the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the UHSAA baseball playoffs continues tomorrow. We'll be here at BYU. If it's necessary, we'll have a double chance elimination game between Corner Canyon and Mountain Ridge, and maybe a second double chance elimination game between Lehigh and Riverton. Either way, join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock if it's necessary, only here on your home for the Spring Sports Championships, the Rewind Sports Network. Otherwise, be sure to join us at 4 o'clock p.m. on Friday for Game 1 of the 5A and 6A Championship Series.
We're hoping it's going to be necessary, right, Alex?
Absolutely. I'm hoping it's going to be necessary. I know you. Hold on a minute. Time out. You said to me earlier, Ty, when we were in the break, you said you hope that this ends tonight.
Well, I do, quite honestly. We've been doing this 3 days straight for 4 games.
Are you really that sick of me sitting next to you?
Mm-hmm, quite frankly. Just
Okay,
kidding.
then fine. You can do color with him then for all I care. We're a little bit punchy, folks, in case you haven't noticed.
I gotta roll with this kid's punches next to me. Notice how I said kid, by the way.
Says the person who's like 7 years younger than me. Thank you.
Hey, I'm the taller one.
No, you're not. Get off it right now. We start the top half of the 5th inning as a ball outside to the leadoff man in the order. Jack Munson. So Jack Munson comes in as the DH for Logan Nordhoff. So apparently, or Aiden, that's actually for Aiden Dunn. So it'll be Munson, Cotterall, and Watcott. So Munson is the substitution for Aiden Dunn on the double switch. 7, 8, 9 here in the order to begin the top half of the 5th inning against Grayson Riding. Brings the 1-1 down, and this one gets past the catcher in the carpet. Ball 2.
This might be the quietest I've heard the Corner Canyon dugout, at least in the games that they've played.
That one is a good pitch on the inside corner, strike 2. Absolutely peppering the corners now is Grayson Riding. Can he get another one here to get a strikeout? This one, golf foul over to University Parkway. Look out. That one tailing off into the road over there. Some busy crowd, some busy cars going by there trying to get to the graduations. 2-2 pitch on the way. That one just a little bit low. Had to pick that one up off the carpet. And now we got confusion because the umpire Ryan Hartman didn't call a strike, and Munson thought he got struck out. Cotterall came back up, and now Austin Ellis is having a laugh about it. I mean, both dugouts are cracking up.
He thought he was done for.
I thought
dead in the water.
We all thought he was, and then he got confused. 3-2 pitch. This one grounded up the middle to short, but Choco cleans it, wings it over to first. Now he's out.
Well, that's a better way to go than a strikeout.
And there's one out.
That's classic.
I told you, it's been a long day for everybody here, man. Even it's been a long day for poor Cameron Hartman, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be the funniest thing we've seen all tournament long. That one is a strike right down the heart of the plate. 8-9-1 in the 7-8-9 in the order coming up. One out here in the top half of the fifth inning as a strike is called over the heart of the plate once again. And Grayson Riding is just dealing now. 0-2 pitch. Chop towards third. Picked up on 2 hops. Winged over to first. 2 out. Good play over there by Stockton Folks, the third baseman. So count the last putouts 6-3 and 5-3, respectively, if you're keeping score at home. But after how many games we've done over the past 2 days, I mean, who else is keeping score at this point? I don't think I would.
I'm trying my best over here, Alex. I'll say that.
We're trying. First pitch on the way. This one is fouled off the foot, or just above the shin of Drew Watcott, and that's a foul ball.
Oh, those are the ones that hurt most, right down in the shin.
Yeah, but when the adrenaline's flowing at this point, I don't think you feel it.
Nope.
0-1 pitch. That one misses the corner. Ball 1. That one comes back over the plate for a strike. I don't know if that was the location that Ellis wanted, but he got the strike anyway. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on the left fielder, Drew Watcott, number 9 in the order. Garrett Downing on deck. 1-2 pitch. That one is high 2-2. Good waste. 1 run on just 2 base hits for Corner Canyon here in this ball game. It was a triple and then a single. 2-2 pitch. That's down in the carpet. 3 balls and 2 strikes, so the count goes full here on Drew Watcott.
And Corner Canyon's really been shut down pretty much as you see those first 2 hits, and those only came in the first and second innings, so they've been quiet for quite a while now.
3-2 pitch. Tip foul. 6th pitch of the AB coming up here for Drew Watcott as he fights to get on. Remember, Cotterall milked a 10-pitch walk out of Singleton earlier. This one is lined to second, and catching the line drive is Juan Gonzalez, and that will do it here in the top half of the 5th innings. Sentinels set down the Corner Canyon Chargers at Kahi Elua Aloha, and we head now to the bottom of inning number 5 with Mountain Ridge still up 2-1. Welcome back to Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young University. Alexander Timulip alongside Ty Wilkinson here in the booth from the Cy and Betty Kimball press box here at Larry H. Miller Field. So, Ty, we turn our page now to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and how about this performance out of the bullpen here from Grayson Riding, and how about the start from Dylan Singleton as well? 3 strong innings, and now Grayson Riding has come in and given 2 more strong innings here for the Sentinels.
Yeah, it's been very, very interesting. We even talked about earlier the unpredictability that the bullpen provides, and we knew it was going to be a bullpen situation just about 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 innings into the game. I don't know why I couldn't say innings, but 3 innings into the game, we knew it was going to be a bullpen battle, and it very well proves to be the case. Other than those 2 runs that were given up earlier, who was that? Was that by Paulson or Grayling?
Yeah, that was by
yep,
Paulson.
it was. So that's pretty much the name of the game right now. Is the score is still 1-2.
Paulson gave up the 2 runs, but they were charged to the starter, Ryland Dunn, who had the 2-run home run yesterday in that 7-run inning against Fremont. As you just saw Josh Dodge pan over to the Lehigh Pioneers. They're starting to make their way into the ballpark for their rematch against the Riverton Silverwolves. What a game that's going to be later on tonight in our nightcap. The pitch. This one is hit in the air, deep to left field, heading back toward the wall, and it's going to drop. That one ricochets up against the fence. Edwards is going to turn for third. Here comes the throw. He is safe. That one ricocheted off the bottom of the fence near the Burger Supreme logo out there. Just underneath that logo, actually. And it's a leadoff triple to begin the bottom half of the fifth inning. And Ty, what a huge insurance run that's going to be if the Ridge can push this across.
It was crazy. Drew Watcott out there. He misread it a little bit. You could see him start to track right, and he had to turn his head back. And by that point, he had already lost it all the way to the wall. And that gave him plenty and plenty of extra time for Remington Edwards to run all the way to the third and get in really, really decent scoring position 90 feet away.
This one golfed up toward the right-hand side, foul over the tarp over there. As they are beginning to turn on the lights here at Larry H. Miller Field, they are starting to take effect here. Just approaching 6 o'clock p.m. here, local time in Provo. Pitch from Paulson is on the corner, but low. A ball and a strike. Mountain Ridge trying to force a decisive winner-take-all game tomorrow afternoon. The pitch on the way. This one is hit in the air well. Deep left field, down the line. This time Watcott will get there. Edwards will tag. Here comes the throw. He is safe. And the run does come in. And the Mountain Ridge Sentinels do get that huge insurance run they desperately needed here in the bottom of the fifth.
That's a big sac fly there, courtesy of the bat of Austin Ellis.
So here comes Ethan Iacono now, the left fielder.
I think it's worth mentioning right now, too, Alex, is what this team has done in the past. I should say today in the fifth inning.
They put up an 8-run fifth inning, sending 12 batters to the plate against Fremont, which, by the way, you pointed out, Ty, the day after, Corner Canyon sent 11 batters to the plate against Fremont in the second inning, and they scored 7 times.
And you know what the score was going into the fifth inning, Alex?
It was over at that point, as this one ricochets onto the roof, onto the tarp here at Larry H. Miller Field. So that means it's time for our Any Hour Services random roof ringer. As soon as Ty can dig it up from the mounds of notes he made at probably 5 in the morning when he was bloodshot and teary-eyed as this ball is tipped foul back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. 3-1 our score in favor of the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. 1-2 pitch. That one just a little bit too high. 2-2. You can hear the sounds of batting practice right now from our position here in the broadcast booth as Riverton starts to warm up. No one in the bullpen, by the way, right now for Corner Canyon to our right. 2-2 pitch. That is high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count.
A little bit of high cheddar, tried to get him to chase. Right up there in the strike zone, not having it.
3 balls and 2 strikes, now the count on Ethan Iacono, the left fielder. The kick and the deal. This one is hit foul onto the roof again.
Do I need to get 2 for you?
Yeah, we're gonna need a second Any Hour roof ringer here in a second.
All right, well,
we're gonna need a double dip here, one after the other here. On the 6th pitch of the AB, 7th pitch of the AB on the way. This one. Are we gonna?
Hey-o!
We got 3. That's 3 in a row. So we're having 3 in a row of these Any Hour roof ringers.
I think I'm running out. Just kidding.
Oh, we got stuff to burn through. We're okay,
Yep.
I think. Unless there's another one hit on the roof.
Could we go for 4?
Well, we could go for 4 here. Well,
that's
there's
ball 4
4
for the ball.
That's ball 4. Okay. So 3. Okay, so Ty, I mean, take your pick. I mean, you got 3 Any Hour roof ringers here. You can pick whatever one you want
All
here,
right,
because
well.
we're gonna have to go through these in the next 3 or so batters.
Well, let's start with this. What do you think is the most difficult position in the baseball field defensively?
And this does this include pitcher or does this not include the pitcher?
This does include pitcher, actually.
This does include pitcher. Okay, as we're going to have him visit out to the mound, so it gives us an opportunity to think here. The outfield, we talked about how the outfield is really difficult. I'm going to say shortstop's probably the most difficult.
Shortstop is not the most difficult.
Really? What is it?
The catcher is considered the most
Oh,
difficult
that was going to be my next guess. Oh, that was going to be my next guess. Is the catcher.
It says even with the extra padding in the glove, catchers often develop circulatory problems in their hand from catching so many powerful pitches.
Jeez Louise.
They also suffer from torn meniscuses as a result.
Because they're squatting so much, right?
Exactly. They have to squat that entire time, and however many innings that game has. Catchers are people too, Alex.
Can
I'll
you
say
imagine?
that.
Can you imagine how massive your legs have to be, though,
Right.
and how massive the weights are you have to lift?
It's incredible.
I mean, my gosh! I mean, the strength you have to do to just get in shape as a catcher. I mean, that's just incredible.
Right.
But where does shortstop? But where does shortstop rank on the list, though? That's what I want to know. Where does shortstop rank on the
It
list?
is actually third. Pitcher right before it.
Okay, so yeah, I was pretty close then.
Yep.
I was actually going to guess pitcher and then catcher and then shortstop and then catcher then pitcher.
Well, you got the three. They're just kind of out of order.
They're all kind of tells you about my organization skills. Well, anyway, here's Cooper Goff, the DH now, who had the 2-run double back in the third inning. And takes high again, ball 2. So Carson Paulson starting to run into a little bit of traffic here. Already 1 run home in this inning on the sacrifice fly by Austin Ellis, the catcher. 2-0 pitch. Runner doesn't go. That's a strike on the outside corner. If this scoreline holds, Mountain Ridge forces a decisive winner-take-all game tomorrow afternoon at 4. If Corner Canyon's able to come back and win, they'll advance to the final. 2-1 pitch. That one is outside. 3 balls and a strike. High throw by Cotterall trying to keep the runner honest over there at first base, but no such.
Well, he's lucky that didn't get past.
Yeah, that could have been a disaster because that was heading into right field and there was nobody behind him covering.
Well, fortunate enough, Andrew Nice has hops out there.
Very nice hops. 3-1. That one is on the corner, strike 2. Good pitch. So a full count again to the second consecutive hitter that Carson Paulson has faced. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball foul up near the first base coach. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming up here is first base coach for Mountain Ridge throws the ball over to the Corner Canyon dugout. Jeff Yore standing on the second to last step of the dugout, watching out over the field on our right-hand side down here in the opening. 3-2 pitch. High pop-up. Good luck trying to find this one. Conker and the first baseman come over. Andrew Nice says, I've got it. And he does. There's 2 out.
Now hitting number 1, Luke Nelson.
Luke Nelson will now come up to bat here for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels.
Well, 1 for 2 is the first baseman. As we know, Mountain Ridge, bottom of the lineup, is also, I guess, the heart and soul of what's, excavated this amazing offense, as we've seen, Alex, especially for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels.
I seriously thought you were going to say matriculated for a second as Nelson gets plunked up high on the back there with the pitch, and he will advance to first. And now out comes number 24, Juan Gonzalez, the second baseman, batting 8th. And we're going to have time called here as they're going to take a peek, it looks like, at the bullpen for Corner Canyon. And I believe we might have a pitching change as Jeff Yore is on his way to the mound. And I believe we are. So Carson Paulson is relieved of his duties. And it'll be up to his other relievers to pick up the pieces of what he's left behind. We have a new pitcher coming to the mound. We'll tell you who it is when we come back You're watching the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of the 6A baseball semifinals. Cash Conquer now enters the game as the pitcher, meaning Tanner Mackey will take over his spot at second base. On the double switch, Alexander Tumulip alongside my broadcast partner Ty Wilkinson here in the booth. Before we go any further, folks, we still have 2 more Any Hour Services random roof ringers to go. So what's number 2 on the list here, Ty?
Well, let's keep the trend or the catching trend going. I just got a text from my mother. She said, "Yeah, catcher. She was a catcher for softball way back in her day whenever she played, so credit to her. But as a catcher's equipment is known as the quote-unquote tool of ignorance. Do you want to know why it's called that? It's actually a pun, Alex.
I would love to know why it's a pun on that.
Because it is said that catching is such a difficult job that no intelligent person would do it. Sorry, Mom. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's why you never did it then. That's what you're trying to make. That's the point you're trying to make, is that's why you never did it, because you never had the chops to do it.
Yep, that's very true. I did at one point, Alex.
The tools of ignorance. I like that.
There
No
was-
wonder they call it the tools of ignorance either, because as we saw, they don't give much protection to the catchers down
Right.
below the belt, as we saw with Austin Ellis earlier, getting hit in the gut with a foul ball.
There was, in fact, a time and a place where I did play the catcher's position back when I had stitches, actually, on my finger, Alex. And believe it or not, they had me come in as a catcher because one of
God
ours got
bless your
hurt on
soul,
our
child.
team.
That's
right?
all I can say. Glad your knees survived to this day. First pitch from Cash Conquer misses outside, ball 1 to Juan Gonzalez. So it is second baseman against second baseman here. Or I should say ex-second baseman, now that Conquer's the pitcher, been pulled for Tanner Mackey on the double switch. And now the sun's starting to take effect here, and you can see the shadow of the facade of the roof here at Larry H. Miller Field starting to creep up on the walk-up lines. 1-0 pitch. That one just catches the corner for a strike.
It's a good off-speed pitch, too, and beautiful framing, too.
Big gap on the left side in the shift here between second and short. Almost shading Juan Gonzalez like he's going to pull it to the right.
He is known for hitting it that way.
Oh, look out. That one gets past him. And that one looked like it hit him. And Jeff Yore's going to come out here as they're going to rule, as Ryan Hartman, the home plate umpire, is going to rule that ball hit Gonzalez. Now remember, it isn't like what we saw earlier in the earlier game where the American Fork Cavemen batters leaned into it to try to get the HBPs. That one looked like it clearly clipped him.
Yep, and you could hear that sound right off of that elbow protector right out there, too. That'll load the bases.
For Leo Bachoco, the shortstop, and Conquer wasn't arguing either, so I think he pretty much knew that he had hit Gonzalez in the elbow. Two outs here with 2 runners on the pitch. And that's foul back to the screen. 1 strike. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Mountain Ridge, though they've had plenty of chances to extend their lead. Corner Canyon just 1 run on 2 hits. They haven't had a base hit since the 3rd inning. Oh, 1 pitch. Grounded up the middle and to second. Throw to first. Close play. Got him. Great play at second base there by Tanner Mackey, and that will set down the side. But 1 run does come across the score, and the Mountain Ridge Sentinels are up 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Or head to the top of the 6th, rather. We'll be back after this. Well, it's been the story of the bullpen so far for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels. We got a lefty and a righty warming up here in case Grayson Riding gets a little bit fatigued here. Alexander Tumulip, Ty Wilkinson. Corner Canyon down 3-1 here, trying to advance to the 6A championship series. And Ty, if you ever wanted a time to pick to get things going, this is it.
And, yeah, speak the truth, because right now, you don't want to call it the desperate situation right now for Corner Canyon, but this is a team that you know, when they get going, they'll get going. All they need is that spark that ignites them, and I think the top of the order at least in this next inning, having the top of the order start off will hopefully give them the spark that they're looking for.
So Garrett Downing will lead off. It'll be 1, 2, and 3 here in the top half of the 6th inning against Grayson Riding, who has been spectacular out of the bullpen. 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, and he's allowed no hits. First pitch on the way. That one catches the low part of the plate for a strike. 0-1 pitch on the way. That is just a little high and outside. Ball 1. Lights are on here at Larry H. Miller Field, but we expect them not to at least take effect until about the 8 or 9 o'clock hour tonight. It's just past 6. This one bounces up the plate off the carpet. 2 balls and a strike here. Again, lefty and a righty in the bullpen warming up here for Mountain Ridge, should they need it. 2-1 pitch. That is foul. And that one looked like it ricocheted off the catcher or ricocheted off of the mask of the umpire.
He fouled it back twice.
Yeah, he fouled it back twice. It looked like it kind of hit off of the catcher, head off the bat, then hit off the umpire. Ryan Hartman at behind home plate.
Look at that big
2-2
gap.
pitch. Lined off the screen. You were about to say, Ty, there's a big gap over there in the middle of the field. There certainly is. Look how far they're shading at second base.
You would think the shortstop would shift with them, but no. It's a big open area.
2 balls and 2 strikes now on the pitch outside. Or now 3 balls and 2 strikes on the pitch outside.
Well, they also have the scouting report, though, Alex.
Yes, they do. They have a much better scouting report than we do. We're just reporting what we're seeing up here. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the pitch. Ball 4. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate in the person of Ryder Florence, who has one of the only 2 base hits for Corner Canyon on the afternoon. The triple, and then was brought home on the sacrifice fly by Nathan Horstman. But now a big spot here for Grayson Riding as the stress level starts to rise. First pitch. That one is a high strike at the letters. Outfield playing just about straight away. Shifted about a fraction or so to the right. 0-1 pitch. Ground ball. 6, 4, 3. Double play. Leo Bachoco, have yourself a day defensively, my friend. He has had some spectacular moments at short here today.
All the shortstops in this tournament have had at least a highlight reel, it feels like.
Absolutely. But Leo Bachoco has been the man over there at short. This one is a pitch right there for a strike. And just like that, 2 outs on that beautifully turned 6-4-3 twin killing. 0-1. And that one looked like it bounced up on Ellis to the plate, and didn't look like Riding had a good grip on that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cash Conquer now. Can he come through with a hit? This one right at the knees, but doesn't get the call this time. Might have been picked up just a smidge off the carpet. 2-1.
He's got the only RBI on a sac fly.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier. It was actually him, not Nathan Horstman. There's a strike right at the knees. 2-2. The only other base... I believe the only other base hit was in the heart of the order. We'll have to check that stat when we come back. 2-2 pitch. Jammed him. Popped him up. Ellis has it. Inning over. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels set down the Chargers in order. Ekahi, Elua, Aloha following the 6-4-3 double play And they lead 3-1 heading to their half. A good look there at the Westlake High School graduation folks who have stopped to take a look at the action over here at Larry H. Miller Field. With my broadcast partner Ty Wilkinson, Alexander Timolip, ready for the bottom half of inning number 6 here in this double elimination semifinal between Corner Canyon and Mountain Ridge. Ty, we have one more Any Hour Services random roof ringer we need to bring up before we go any further. Ty, what's the third one we have?
Okay, so this will not be catcher related, but I want you to guess how many chances, you know, obviously baseball is a game of statistics, how many chances there are for a certain play, a certain hit, a certain field, a certain, however, how many chances would you say?
Are you kidding me? You're asking me to do all that crud?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. You know I'm not good
There
with
is a
math.
right number.
Oh,
It's a rough estimate for each and every game.
Oh, jeez. Now you're making me dig here. I mean, it's got to be in the millions.
It is in the millions, yes, I will say.
Is it close to 10 million?
It is close to 10.
Okay, so I'm going to venture a guess about 9.5 million combinations.
You went too low. You didn't do the prices right. It's actually 12 million total chances.
Well, I was close.
Yeah, it was close enough.
I was close. 12
a mere
million.
3.5 million off.
2.5 million. You're the one not doing the math here. You're the one not doing the math here, and I'm the one that's supposed to be guessing these questions.
You're very much correct. I
thought I was
haven't taken a math class since high school. Maybe it's time.
Hey, I haven't taken a math class in almost 2 years, okay? You have no excuse. You're going to take one. You were supposed to take one, I think, before you left. As
right.
Folks roast this one to the right. And the right fielder comes over, makes the catch. And there's one out.
Maybe it's time to venture into taking stats.
Yeah, in our age as broadcasters, that I think would be a very viable option for both of us. But except I'm the one graduated already, so I don't have to take those classes anymore, but what do I know? Anyway, Jackson Reiser here into the plate with one out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Takes the ball inside from Cash Conquer, 1-0. Interesting to see if they let Grayson Riding finish this one out. He's gone 3 strong innings so far as this one is blasted off the screen. A ball and a strike. Again, if Corner Canyon is able to come back and win this game, this series is over and they will advance directly to the finals. Otherwise, we'll have a winner-take-all game tomorrow at 4 p.m. 1-1 pitch. That one swung on and missed, strike 2. Tough pitch to hack at right there from Jackson Reiser. Temperature still in the mid-70s here in Provo. Around 74 degrees. Southwest wind now at 6 miles an hour, blowing in gently from right field. 1-2 pitch. That one bounces up to the plate. 2-2.
Well, this is the issue we always talk about during Game 3, Alex, that sun-to-shade transition from the facade that comes over. That does not benefit the pitcher nor the batter.
That one gets by to the backstop. Ball
Also
3
the catcher,
now.
for that matter.
Also the catcher, because you got to remember, they have to pick up the pitchers that are coming off of the pitcher's hand, and so they have to also anticipate where the ball's going. 3-2 pitch. High fly ball into left. Watcock trundles over a few steps, makes the catch, and just like that, there's 2 gone here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We want to remind you, at the conclusion of this afternoon's game, Ty and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann and Associates Player of the Game, and we'll also be looking forward to our final game of the day, Lehigh against Riverton. What a game that is going to be in the nightcap coming up in just a little bit, as this ball is down low to the right fielder Remington Edwards, ball 1. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Mountain Ridge today, as that pitch is in there for a called strike.
It's a big inning to get out of, too, if you're Corner Canyon.
Yeah, hold this deficit right where it is, as that one goes behind Remington Edwards. 2 balls and a strike.
Not only that, but it's the top of the order that you're getting through, too. Already with 2 outs.
Horstman, Nice, and Nordhoff will be the batters in the top half of the 7th inning. So heart of the order, right part of the lineup that Corner Canyon wants to get in the tying run will be represented in the on-deck circle by the person of Andrew Nice, as this is grounded toward the hole, and it gets through. So a 2-out single for Remington Edwards. And on a 3-1 count, the Mountain Ridge Sentinels threaten once again.
Well, he's a home run away from hitting for the cycle right now, Alex. He's got a double, a triple, and now a single.
Yes. Well, unless we go to extra innings, I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to hit for the cycle today, but that would have been cool to see. We thought we were going to see it earlier today when Drake Pearsall went 2 for 2 for Riverton, but then he couldn't generate much after that. Still won the game, though, 3 of 4.
Nonetheless, that's still a good ratio. 3 for 4, still with a walk.
That's pretty darn slick, as we're going to have a late pinch running change here, as Edwards is going to be subbed off, and coming in now for the Sentinels is number 44, Simeon Bachoko, the scorer of the winning run in today's Mercy Rule win over Fremont. So Bachoko now takes the place of Remington Edwards at first as the pinch runner. 1-0 the count, 2 out here. And the bottom half of the 6th inning. Mountain Ridge trying to force a winner-take-all game tomorrow. The pitch. Inside ball 2-0. Standing on deck, by the way, is the left fielder Ethan Iacono. Lefty still warming up in the bullpen, but a right-hander looks like going to be coming in for the 7th inning here for the Sentinels. The pitch. Hit. Foul. That one goes over the tarp, and that goes onto the concourse. Look out. Sound like it hit something over there.
Well, luckily it's not on University, because there's a
lot of people now, coming out of that Westlake graduation, and they're all walking back to their cars. And
expensive cars, too.
Yeah, last thing they want to see is a baseball come right at them. Ball bounces up to the plate. 3 balls and a strike again.
I love that joke that Josh mentioned earlier. If the ball goes this way, it's the cars that don't matter that are in the college parking lot.
That's exactly right. He's speaking, of course, Ty, is of Josh Dodge, our cameraman. He's been for the last 3 days on pinch hit duty for Wilson Gustafson. Thank you very much for that. This is sky high into rough center field. Coming over is Downing. Makes the catch, and that ends the inning. No runs, 1 base hit, no errors, and this is it. We now go to the top of the 7th inning. Corner Canyon's got 3 outs to advance to the 6A championship finals and set themselves up for a matchup with either Lehigh or Riverton, and it's 3 outs away from Mountain Ridge to force a winner-take-all game. One more time, reminder that Igloo Outfitters proud to sponsor the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of UHSAA playoff baseball. Get 20% off your next order when you order online for them at igluoutfitters.com. You take a look at the traffic on University Parkway. Alexander Timolip and Ty Wilkinson here at the Betty and Cy Kimball broadcast booth at Larry H. Miller Field, joined, of course, by our good friend Wilson Gustafson up here in the booth on pinch hit duty. Wilson, last statistic you want to throw out there before we hit the 7th?
Well, yeah, I just want to give a little preview. We got the heart of the lineup coming up here for Corner Canyon. It's going to be crucial for them to just get base runners right now. They've got to get something going. This is their last shot, right? The only problem being is that the bats have gone quiet for Corner Canyon since that early first run. In fact, they have had 1 base runner since the 2nd inning. So, but if anything, Horseman, Nice, and Nordhoff are the guys to do it.
Well, they're going to go up against Grayson Riding, who's gone 3 strong innings, and he's going to be the one to shut it down here for Mountain Ridge. 4, 5, 6, heart of the order. Tying run is on deck. First pitch. Line drive to left field. Coming on and making the catch is Ethan Iacono. 1 pitch, 1 out. What a play.
Sprawling effort out there.
And into the sun, no less. Here comes Andrew Nice now. Tying run still on deck in the person of Tanner Mackey. First pitch, grounded foul over to the Corner Canyon dugout.
Folks at home need to understand how hard it is to come onto the sun, lay yourself out flat, and dive out and make a catch while doing so. With a cap on, too, limiting your visibility.
0-1 pitch. Liner foul up the right field side. No balls and 2 strikes. Grayson Riding trying to go for the 4-inning save. Actually, Grayson Riding will get the win if he's able to hold on to this 3-1 lead here in the 9th, or in the 7th inning. Feels like the 9th. 0-2 pitch. Good waste pitch there from Grayson Riding. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Oh, and the shift is definitely on again. He's got plenty of room to work out there in the middle infield.
1-2 pitch. Just missed the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We had a good look at it from up here. That didn't catch the plate. Tanner Mackey, the DH, stands on deck. Has the potential tying run. 2-2. Liner into left, tailing foul, and it will fall so out near the conference championships markers for BYU baseball, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 6th pitch of the AB coming up here.
Mountain Ridge with a combined breathe out of relief over there because they thought that thing was coming in at least a little bit toward that in-play line, right down the third base line.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top half of the 7th inning. Tying run on deck.
Juan Gonzalez is playing a mile out there at second base.
2-2 pitch. Outside, full count. The 7th pitch of the AB coming up here. The 3-2 pitch. Goodbye. And that will bring up Tanner Mackey as the last chance.
Now hitting number 27, Tanner Mackey.
Tanner Mackey now stands as the last obstacle between Mountain Ridge and a winner-take-all game tomorrow. First pitch. In the air, left field. Winner, take all necessary.
And this ball game, 14 Chargers 1, Commander Sentinels 3. This game will play again tomorrow at 4:30 right here at Larry H. Miller Field on the campus of Brigham Young University. As you leave tonight, make sure you look around, you gather your belongings, your personal belongings, any trash that you might have, please make sure it makes it to a trash receptacle. Thanks again for coming. We'll see you tomorrow.
We are set up for some game tomorrow. Mountain Ridge takes down Corner Canyon. And Ty Wilkinson, there will be an extra game tomorrow between these two Region 2 teams.
And not just the game, Alex. An elimination game part 2. This one is going to be for real this time. It is win big or go home. Corner Canyon had the opportunity to clinch, but Mountain Ridge said, hold on. We just beat Fremont. Let's play you. And now they get some well-needed rest after playing that doubleheader. And so will Corner Canyon.
Wow, what a win for Mountain Ridge. Time now to name our Heidemann & Associates player of the game. Ty, there's a lot of people we could name. I mean, obviously, honorable mention, shout-out goes to Grayson Riding, who got the win in relief today. 4 strong innings, allowed no runs, no base hits through the final 4 innings of this game. But Ty, we have to give the nod to designated hitter Cooper Goff. Benched for the first game today. He comes in today, the 2-run double that effectively won the game.
It definitely won the game, Alex. That 2-run double in the 3rd inning really put a punch into the Corner Canyon lineup, and you could kind of feel it too. That 3-1 game, he has 2 RBIs. I mean, if he doesn't do that, and he sits on the bench per decision of the Corner Canyon head coach, I mean, this game could have obviously easily gone either way.
So, Ty, one semifinal will require a double chance game. Could we see a second double chance game tomorrow?
Well, I mean, may as well, I guess, at this point. If you already got to come in tomorrow, why not do 2 games, right?
We will have a game 2 tomorrow between these 2 teams. Tune in tomorrow, 4 o'clock p.m., Mountain Ridge, Corner Canyon, the rematch, the winner-take-all semifinal for the right to go to the finals. We're not done yet, folks. Ty Wilkinson and I will be back for our second winner-take-all potential semifinal of the night, Lehigh against American Fort. Stay tuned, folks. We're just getting started.